The second question is, what advantages and disadvantages do you believe that living in this modern digital era of entertainment 2022 and beyond, what does it have?
Can I start?
Anybody can answer first.
Yeah. So for me, I think... Is this on?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear
Sorry.
it? 1, 2, 3.
Sorry.
You can hear me, right? No, you can't hear me.
Dale, could you
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
check
Thank
that
you so
mic?
much. Oh, right.
There you go.
Absolutely. Anyway, if you missed it earlier, I'm Rosie. Hi. No, so basically, advantage and disadvantage in the music industry, for me, what I've learned. An advantage with what I do is that I've met and worked with people all over the world through, social media and through the internet, and being able to find new artists that I wouldn't normally listen to or that I wouldn't normally, find. I mean, I've got a lot of favorite artists from Australia, for example. I've got a lot of favorite artists from Malta, and I wouldn't have found that kind of music or those artists if it weren't for, social media and the digital age. But a disadvantage, in my opinion, is that everything is too... I feel like things can get too saturated. So, I mean, things like TikTok are a big problem in this day and age when it comes to, oversaturation in the music industry, I feel. An example of that is there's this artist called Steve Lacy, and he's been popping off at the moment, and he's got one song that's really, really famous on TikTok called Bad Habit. And there was a video going around which was quite viral recently of him performing, and then he sung the first verse of the song, the chorus, and everybody knew it, and then he passed the mic to the audience and no one could sing back. And I think that it was a shame because he's obviously a really talented artist and really incredible, but because of the way that social media works nowadays, it's like those 6-second videos, 30-second videos, no one really takes notice of anything more than that. We all need something new all the time. So I think the disadvantage would be that things can get really oversaturated in this industry. But the advantage is that you can use and meet and talk and listen to things from all over the world. So that's my opinion.
Also, I want to add...
Try different.
1, 2... Oh.
Hello.
Was I using the wrong mic the whole time?
So basically, it's a bit like when you say about the whole media thing. It's kind of good in a way because you can basically work people all around the world, as you were saying. I was working, so I did this music video, Easy Max Monkey Bars, which now got 2.1 million views on YouTube. And I was working with people from the Philippines, Canada, and the UK. So we're all working together, and we're doing a lot of Zoom calls, and one issue was all the time zone. So I was talking to my friend at 2 a.m. in the morning. So we managed to get everything done, and we working, and then we got 2.1 billion views. So yeah.
That's cool. I agree with Rosie about the saturation. I think a disadvantage is that everyone can be an artist, but an advantage is everyone can be an artist. Yeah. There is so many people wanting to share their stuff, and it can be really hard to find a way to stand out. And again, what you were saying with perfectionism and making sure that you're really happy with what you want to say before you put it online. But anyone can put anything online, and it's a great way, like I was saying before, that you can have Instagram and use it to your advantage, meet people from around the world. There's a lot of people out there, but that doesn't mean that you can't be one of them. And I think, what's an advantage can also be a disadvantage, but you should use it to your advantage.
Anyone want to add? Again, Daniel.
No, I completely agree with that as well. I mean, even for me, with what I do with my clients, I mean, I love the fact that everyone now can just be an entrepreneur, thanks to just what social media offers these days. And the fact that you can have an international audience. You could be reaching people out in Australia, America, and wherever, and doing that in the comfort of your London home. And I love that, and even the money that people can make through either advertisements, sponsors, their own products, courses, or hell, depending on what your background is. Especially for me, where I'll work with a lot of self-development coaches, for them, their upsell is, their own coaching programs. So they then don't need to do that much marketing by using videos, and they can be making quite easily between like 5, 10K a month, which then I'll be sitting there going like, I think I'm clearly in the wrong job here. If they're able to either sit there doing something as simple as playing on a computer game, or in particularly with some of my clients where they will be just sitting and giving advice to camera, or having testimonials of clients that they're working with. In regards to a disadvantage, I would say, I think for me, for what I've seen and heard, especially throughout my clients who are hypnotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists and stuff, is more just the mental health side of what social media is actually offering people, where people are getting a little bit too caught up in the trends, or they'll go absolutely crazy for trying to get the views, or or likes or dislikes. They'll get heartbroken if they don't quite get what they were setting out to achieve for a video. And I do actually have a concern, I think, really with where videos are getting shorter and shorter these days, especially with platforms like TikTok, where I think I once saw a video where someone literally sat there the entire video and that had like 1 million views on it. And I know there would be some people that would argue that would be counted as content, but I would completely disagree. Sitting there doing absolutely nothing or miming a song is not content in my opinion, but if you are catching a trend, you are essentially putting yourself also ahead of the curve. But again, just the mental health side of it, I have heard that there has been a huge rise in issues like ADHD and depression and stuff, just because our brains are getting trained to take in information shorter and shorter. So I think that's probably my only concern with where things are going, that people might get a little bit too lost in trying to make content, trying to attract in a huge audience, and if they don't reach it, then it can affect them mentally or in whatever form that might be. So yeah.
I'd say an advantage is learning. I mean, the things that you can learn online. You can teach yourself piano from the comfort of your own home, to sound engineering, to anything. And it's available to people in less advantaged countries. They've got it at their fingertips now, and it's amazing. But I would say a huge disadvantage is obviously the kind of isolation aspect and, cyberbullying. So yeah, it kind of goes, there's positives and negatives to it.
Yeah, I don't have anything terribly groundbreaking to add to that. I think in film specifically, the amazing thing is that all of us walk around with technology in our pockets, which would have been utterly inaccessible, even 20 years ago. If you think of, some of the filmmakers of the French New Wave, in the 50s and 60s, and the kind of hoops they were jumping through to make a movie, and how difficult that was. If you told them, 50 years in the future, you're just going to have a thing in your pocket, does all of this, what would they have gone out and done with that technology? And I think it's important to remember, what a privilege it is to have that accessible. I think, I very much echo what a lot of people have said. The disadvantage is that it's harder than ever to get your work seen, even if it's easier to make it. And I think what you were saying about sort of finding a niche, finding an audience, there are more people viewing stuff probably than ever before. The audiences is out there, but it's how you tap into it and how you find the certain bit of it that is the struggle now.
I just want to add, also use LinkedIn. The disadvantage of using that is that you see amazing work, and also you can connect to people from like Pixar, DreamWorks, these top companies. But the disadvantage of seeing some amazing work, it kind of puts you off. And then you look at your work and you look at their work. You're like, well, I mean, I haven't worked on How to Train Your Dragon, but that looks amazing. And then you look at your work, you're like, I don't know. And then one of the issues is with when you apply for these jobs, they're looking at 100 a day basically. So it takes a long time, and it can be quite stressful. But yeah, just have to keep working on it basically.
Yeah, that's some really good points made by everybody in the panel. I'll add my 2 pence on that. I would say is that you've got to look at yourself in the digital media era as it's your chance to be your most genuine self. in the fact that, you know, there's never been a time frame where literally anybody is literally like a preemptive filmmaker, creator, musician, because you've got these things in your pockets. We're all individuals, and you just got to look at yourself as there's billions of human beings on this planet. We've been here for how many billions of years, and there's never, ever been anybody like you. You are all special in your own way. There's no one in this planet that is like you. So once you understand that, and you really channel that into whatever you're doing, you know, that will really help you on the path, whatever creative pathway you want to go. So I would agree with what one of the guys said here, really.